Here's Whitmore. Whitmore has taken the lead. The old man's going to do it. It's Whitmore in the Breeders' Cup Sprint.
All right, we are back for a little bit of a hybrid show today, Papa Dude. This is usually a sports show. Not today. Today we are starting off hot and heavy with the Breeders' Cup. We got to get some sports picks in at the very end.
You bet.
It's mostly a Breeders' Cup show, and that's why we got the big intro today, Papa Dude. How exciting was that?
Oh, God. I remember that so well because that's one of our favorite all-time horses. Oaklawn horse here in not here in Arkansas, but in Arkansas, where we go and where we became horse racing fans like we are. That horse, spectacular. And there's videos out on him now on some of the stuff that he's doing. YouTube it. That's the craziest horse I've ever seen. That's the meanest, craziest horse. It's worth watching those videos just to hear them talk about how hard he was to train.
It seems only fitting that you open up the Breeders' Cup talk on the channel this weekend, or this week, I should say. We played that on Monday as well of Whitmore, because Whitmore was the feel-good story of the Breeders' Cup back in 2020, the COVID year. He wins the sprint after trying, hits the sprint in 2020 and wins that thing. It was an amazing sight. Ron Moquette running down the stretch with him almost there. You're right. Explain this horse, he's got a second career now. If you didn't know, Whitmore's a gelding, so he's got that second career now. What all is he doing? Like, he's basically kind of in a different competition now, right?
I don't know really what he's doing. He's kind of jumping. He's doing a lot of goofy looking. I don't really know for sure what that is, but
he's kind of a performance horse now.
I was going to say he's a show horse, and he loves it. And but Ron Moquette's wife is the only one that could get that horse to do anything, and he's mean to everybody. It seems like, but her, and he's even mean to her, but she's got her bluff in on him, and he knows it. And he's just one of these special types of horses. And Ron Moquette is one of those trainers that's pretty good, but he's not a Breeders' Cup trainer, And Whitmore had been in it, 3 or 4 times, the Breeders' Cup. He actually ran in the Kentucky Derby as a 3-year-old.
Yeah, believe it or not.
Yeah, and then they figured him out to be a sprinter.
Yeah.
And here's the great, one of the bad things about horse racing, and I've mentioned this a lot, is we don't get to see these horses run, these great ones, very often, unless they're gelding.
Right.
He is. So he ran till he was, 8, 9?
Yeah, 8 years old. Yep.
So what is so wonderful about this is every spring we knew he was going to run at Oaklawn. And we got to watch him all of those years, and he gained a following, and that was a lot like Zenyatta did. You got to see her run. You got to see him run. It was the highlight of your trip to go watch him. And it's a shame we can't do that with some of these champions that are retired for breeding purposes. That's where the real money is made in horse racing. But he was a phenomenal horse. Ron will never have another one like him. And I think he's named after a really star player where Ron Moquette went to high school, I think.
Yep.
He named this horse after him. But it's an amazing story.
Well, let's get right to it, and let's see if we can find some more amazing stories. We've got the Breeders' Cup. We've got 14 races. You and I are 2 of the members of the Racing Dudes. We're kind of through it. We're done all the handicapping. We've got our picks entered into the guide. By the way, if you bought the wagering guide, it's going to come out tomorrow. We're getting it done. We're getting it completed today, kind of rounding out the final touches, kind of get that thing edited and get it released to everybody. So tomorrow, Wednesday, it will be out. But let's get to it right now. We're going to go through the races. Like I said, we've got this done. We've completed our handicapping, so we can get on here and talk about it. Let's start with Friday. We're not going to be fancy. We're just going to go right through straight, numerical order here. The Juvenile Turf Sprint will kick us off on Friday. It's a field of 12. You went, I know where you went, but where did you go on top?
Well, I'm just going to run mine off and you tear them apart.
All right. That's great.
You spent hours on this. I spent a hour.
That's right.
Okay. So my perspective of this is I read a form and I kind of just look at the form like more than an average fan, because I know more about it than some people, but I don't get into it like you guys do. I kind of look and see what they've done, and I kind of try to piece it together. I went 11 Speedboat Beach. Not real crazy about this one, but I went with him. I think maybe an upset here. Baffert kind of influenced me a little bit. Then I went with 2, and I went 10-3. And I want to talk about 10 whenever you get done.
All right, well, let's talk about your top choice there, Speedboat Beach. It's not a horse that I put on top, but I think it's one that's very interesting. Was it the Baffert factor that kind of pushed you over the top, or are you thinking, hey, this horse, I think he ran really well on the turf last time out, and I want to give him another shot?
It was Baffert, and I didn't really like anything else a lot, so I used Time Form a lot. That's who they picked. So it was between the 11 and the 2, and that was kind of the deciding factor for me.
I think the 2 Love Reigns is going to be the strong favorite in here. And I by the time it's over, I know he's not morning line, or she's not the morning line favorite, but I think she's going to be. I think she's going to be ultra tough in the spot. I think with this inside draw, you probably are going to see her closer to the lead than what you saw last time out. I think that'll be the challenge in this race for her. All right. You mentioned the 10 Tyler's Tribe. You've got this horse in 3rd. Let's talk about Tyler's Tribe.
Well, no one knows about this horse unless you follow Prairie Meadows. Ran 5 times. Now, I realize the competition is not stiff at Prairie Meadows for a superstar. Okay? But this horse just stomps them, slaughters them. I mean, 16 links, 20 links, whatever the horse wants to do. He won 5 straight, or she won 5 straight. Speed. I think she's fast enough to finish in the top 4 in this race.
I think the turf is going to be a problem. Obviously, never touched the turf before. Prairie Meadows, just a dirt track. Is that the issue?
Why do you think they put the horse on the turf?
Well, I think they didn't want to stretch this horse out in distance. I think it was between that, going to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, going a mile and a 16th, or coming here to the sharper distance that this horse has been used to running at. The turf is going to be the question mark here.
Yeah. Well, this is my Whitmore, if you will.
Yeah, sure.
Hard-nosed trainer who runs the Midwest circuit. Nicest man in the world. I've been around him some. Just really a genuine guy. Love to see him finish in the top 3 or 4.
What about that theory you talk about sometimes, and we subscribe to it a little bit, as, hey, Tim Martin, great guy, 3rd race at Oaklawn on a Thursday, you better play his horse. Breeders' Cup race, Tim Martin. It doesn't really have a lot to do with the trainer. It's just a lot of times the trainers just don't have that caliber of horse.
I know.
Is that going to be kind of an issue here?
It could be. I mean, this is a crazy pick for me. It is sentimental for me. The jockey, I believe, was an apprentice when the year started. Mm-hmm. What a story this would be if you can finish in the top 4, or she. I've just seen the horse run. The speed, my God, just blows him away.
Yeah.
She's going to go to the front. Yeah. I just think she's got a shot. I wanted to throw her in there because I wanted to talk about her more than anything else. I like the Asmussen horse too.
Well, that was the next one I was going to go with, and a good way to lead it in. The number 3 Private Creed. This is a horse you've picked a lot. It seems like every time we did a daily show this year in the mornings, Private Creed was running. So Private Creed going to be that one coming from way out of it, but's had success. Talk about Private Creed.
Well, what has it done wrong? What has she done wrong? Not much. Has won the last 2. Seems to be progressing. Great trainer. I think she's got a shot in this. I don't know that she wins. It looks like one of those horses that's going to get better and better and better, which is what an Asmussen horse does. I just think she's got a shot. Now, the one I've left off is the 12. And the post bothers me a little bit on that. Of course, I picked the 11, so that doesn't make much sense. But that horse didn't stick out to me.
Yeah. First of all, Michael says we just need Papa Dude to meet Asmussen. Oh, he's met him several times,
I'm
Michael. Every
letting
time
go.
at Oakland, he goes and talks to him. So there's no worries there.
Wait a minute.
Secondly, you can tell that Papa Dude has been hanging out with. There you go. Yeah. there's the picture.
Now, if you can see that picture, what makes this so stupid? Here I am during COVID, and he had a mask on, and I was too stupid to take mine off. Is that not the dumbest thing you've ever seen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think he makes any bones about it, though. That's his favorite trainer for sure.
That's right.
All right. You mentioned the Platinum Queen. I'll kind of round us out. We'll go on to the next one. I know, Michael, it is a great picture. I'll go on to the next one after I'll round this one out for us real quick. The Platinum Queen, the 12 hole. I don't like the post. I do like the horse quite a bit. She beat older horses last time out. And so that's definitely something to kind of keep an eye on. I don't love European sprinters in these races as much as the route horses. And so that combined by the fact that she drew all the way to the outside, I don't know. I was going to try to play her in this spot, but I kind of like the two Love Reigns, the draw here. And I trust Wesley Ward in this race. Obviously, he's won it 3 straight years. So there's no question he knows how to do it. I did see an interview with Wesley Ward. He does not like the post position for Love Reigns. He would have rather her been outside the other speed. But he said, look, you draw inside. It's a short race. We're gunning her. Irad will work out a trip. That's why we've got Irad on our horses. That's why we give him the leg up to work out trips. So the 2 Love Reigns for me. All right. Let's go on. We got some questions though before we do. Were you starstruck? I don't think you were, right? He's pretty common at Oakland.
I don't know if you've ever been around him, but he just like you and me. I mean, he just standing there, and my wife went up to him and said, "Hey, you're his favorite trainer. Would you take a picture?" And he looked at her like she was crazy and said, "Sure."
Yeah.
So we had a little chit chat, and I don't know. I wasn't Star Trek at all.
Honestly, and Asmussen would probably not like me saying this, but I'll go ahead and say it. If you see him, if you want to talk to him, go talk to him. He's very friendly. He'll talk to anybody.
Well, the way I feel, he's standing right out there with everybody.
Yeah.
He didn't talk to. He wouldn't be standing out there.
Yeah, we talked. Saratoga Slim, and I saw him at Saratoga the night after he won the Travers, and we were at the same place to eat with him. And we talked to him for a minute. Really nice guy. And obviously, he was going to be in a really good mood that night, though. So
sure.
Maybe that's not a good indication. All right, Breeders' Cup, the Juvenile Fillies on the dirt this time. A huge field. I think this is completely wide open. 14 horses here. The horse I really wanted to pick, Papa Dude, drew all the way to the outside. Number 14, Raging Sea. That kind of made me go in another direction. Where did you land with your top pick in this one?
Okay, I think you're putting me on the spot too much. We're worried about how I'm picking these, and I'm not the expert here, so I'll just throw this out.
This is your one chance because you're probably not going to be on the rest of the shows.
I don't profess to be an expert at all on this.
Yeah.
I went with I think it's a 2-horse race.
Okay.
This one between the 5 and the 10. And I also like the 3 and the 7. Now, do you have any of those as your top?
Well, I don't think it's a 2-horse race. I think it's a little more wide open.
Well,
I have the 10 in my top 4. I am not a huge fan of the 5, though.
But he beat several of these horses.
Okay, here's kind of my first of all, out of all the races at the Breeders' Cup, there's 14 of them. I dislike this one the most. I just don't have a real feel for this. I don't think any of these horses are very good. I don't think any of these horses are going to win here, and we're going to go, wow, this horse can win the Kentucky Oaks, or be a superstar. I think the good fillies are still out there, are still awaiting to run, or maybe have only just broken maiden, whatever. I don't think you got the best of the group. That being said, I see massive speed duels in here, and I think that hurts the 5. That's the problem. I see a lot of speed. I really don't like the post position draw for the number 10 Chocolate Gelato, but I do think she's not, a true speed horse. I think she can sit off and maybe get first run and still have a shot. I've got her in the mix. I really wanted to pick the 14 Raging Sea. I just couldn't do it from that post. It's going to be awfully tough. I'm beating around the bush. I don't love this horse, but I think number 7 Chop Chop is going to get the absolute perfect setup. And if she's good enough, I think she's going to win, because this should fall apart up front. There is way too much speed in this race. Chop Chop, when you look at how her closing kick, it's tremendous. I think she's going to get there this time. Second time out over the dirt as well. Again, it's one of my, least excited about picks, so to speak, but I just think this horse is coming into the race with the perfect setup, and it's the right time.
Good.
All right. Well,
yeah, I mean, I do want to just point out one thing.
Okay.
I do beat a lot of these guys in this thing each time, even though they pick me apart. I do get my share of them right.
That's A, why we have you on the guide, and B, why we're doing the show. You're underselling yourself like you always do when it comes to horse racing, but this is a valuable show, and that's why I'm asking you questions. All right, let's go to Breeders' Cup, Juvenile Fillies Turf. Now, I will say, I don't think that this race is really your forte when it comes to handicapping.
No, I hate turf. I don't trust 2-year-olds.
Yes.
We need to get through the preliminaries here.
It's 2 strikes really here. I don't think this is one you probably got real excited about. But that being said, who did you like as your top pick here?
Well, dumb me, wrote down the wrong things here. I think I picked number 10 first. Am I right?
All right, I got to pull up the wagering guide since
Well,
I did not anticipate you writing down the wrong.
I wrote the numbers down wrong. I'm sure I did.
All right, so if for this race,
I got 10, and then I got 9, right?
Yeah, you picked the 10 and the 9. You had it right.
I'm going on the outside here.
Yeah,
a lot, which is probably dumb. And then I went 13, I believe, was my third.
Correct.
And then I finished up with the stripper's code here. Free look, number 4. You get a free look if you're a stripper.
Dennis is saying, hey, this is the race I hated.
I wouldn't on this one, no.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean,
how'd you go?
I didn't hate this one quite as much as the last one. I kind of have a feeling the number 4 free look is going to kind of bounce back, is the way to put it, from that race last time out. If you watched her on debut, she looked really sharp over firm turf. Last time out, it was soft turf at Belmont or at Aqueduct, I should say. And she kind of ranged up like she was going to run another big race, and then she kind of stopped and kind of ran in place a little bit. That's my kind of theory here. I look at this field and say we can beat the favorite, the number 10 horse. I get why you're playing her, but I think we can beat her. Trish, you just took the words right out of my mouth. I kind of like the 12 Midnight Mile a little bit as well. And so that's a horse I'm looking to get involved in. But on top, I did put free look for Chad Brown. I think this horse will go off higher than 5-1. I was really surprised by that morning line. I think we might get more like 8-1. That could be wishful thinking. And that's kind of where I'm leaning. And Kevin brings it up to light at the price of 6-1. I think that one's going to be more like 7-2, right? And so I think the morning line's a little bit off here. So I like free look at 5-1. Try to get Chad Brown, a guy that knows how to win this race, involved in that one. All right.
I just looked mine up, and that's not the way I had it. My third horse, I guess I ought to just shut up because this may be really stupid. I had number 5.
That's right. You had Pleasant Passage in third, and that's a horse that beat my horse last time out. So
why I put it in there.
Yeah, you look at that and you go, well, if you like free look, you're supposed to like Pleasant Passage. Here's the deal with Pleasant Passage. Got everything her own way in that race, and it was just like, wow, I didn't think she'd be on the lead. She usually comes from behind. She gets on the lead. I don't really know what she's going to do in this race. Would not be shocked if she won it, though. I will definitely say that. All right, let's go on to the Juvenile. This is seemingly pretty easy. I want to get your take on it, though. Cave Rock's going to be the huge favorite at 4-5. Did you go Cave Rock on top?
Yes. That's what I thought the easiest one.
I thought it was the easiest of the 14 races.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to do any more than what Michael just said. Easy, single Cave Rock.
He just has to run.
Yeah.
Get out there and do what he's done in the past. I put Forte second. National Treasure was third. And I like Blazing Sevens. How about that? That's my fourth one.
I think you could put anybody second, third, and fourth. And I think they definitely, you could say, if Cave Rock was out of the race, well, it's pretty wide open, right?
So this is going to be one of those horses, 2-year-olds, if he wins, will be an early Kentucky Derby favorite.
Yeah, he will definitely be that. There's no question about it. With Cave Rock, the other thing is he faces very little pace in this race, which is pretty surprising. Usually the Juvenile will have a pretty strong pace. He doesn't face much. The only horse that really has speed is the number 1, Hurricane J. I can't see a 30-1 bomb messing with a horse like Cave Rock. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he dictates the terms early and he blows them out late. I think that's a pretty easy one.
So is this an indication that at this point, the 2-year-old division isn't real strong, or is it just too early?
I think sometimes what happens when you have a horse like him, it's kind of like, yeah, if we're on the fence about it, we'll wait, we'll be patient, we'll bring our horse along a little bit slower, and we'll wait for 3-year-old races, and maybe we can try to get him there, like at the Derby. I don't think there's like a rush to take him on at this point. I know Brad Cox had a horse named Loggins, who I think he is that's his highest one, but horse had a little bit of a problem after the race. But not only that, it's just like, why are we going to take him on here when we can, improve, get better
at this point? Yeah, at this point, he doesn't feel like he can win it, so why waste him? Yeah. All right.
Let's go on to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. This will end the day on Friday. Another big field here. Another really, really solid group. It's going to be headlined by Silver Knot in the spot, the 4-horse, coming over for Charlie Appleby as Appleby tries to win this for the second straight season. All right, Papa Dude. All right, round us off. Where are you going here?
I thought this was really hard. I struggled with this one.
Okay.
I went Silver Knot on top, and then I've got the other. You could switch these all around or throw somebody else in there. I got number 8. I'm Very Busy second, and the winner is third. And I threw Major Dude in there for fourth.
I'm with you, on some of those underneath horses. I do not find this one as challenging as you, probably because I have really watched the European replays. This 4, Silver Knot, I'll be very surprised if he loses this race. I'm extremely high on him. The comments are great tonight, guys, because you're taking the words right out of my mouth. The one horse I am worried about, how about the number 1, Victoria Road? Another European horse in here that I think's got a big time shot. I really like those 2 horses quite a bit. As far as the American runners in this race, I just don't think they're very good. And I think that's going to be, a race where ultimately the Europeans just kind of overshadow us. These 2 horses are pretty serious, especially Silver Knot. You watch that race last time out, he looked like $1 million. Our horses, I don't know. I'm 8. I'm Very Busy. You mentioned that horse as well. You have him and have that horse in second. I have the horse in third. Would have loved to see the horse win last time out. Could have been a little bit of the yielding track again that hurt I'm Very Busy. Maybe he bounces back, but I couldn't get there with him this time. All right. Oh, that's it. Let's go to Saturday. Now we're getting to the meat. This is what you like here. We're out of these 2-year-old races. Filly and Mare Sprint. All right. Kick us off.
Tough.
Really tough. Hate
really,
this one.
Really tough. Went with a price in this one. I don't think this horse is going to be 8-1, but I went with obligatory. How do you pronounce it?
Obligatory.
I know how to pronounce it. I just can't. So I went with that horse. I kind of listened to Samage a little bit on the draw show.
That's mistake number 1.
Hmm?
So that's mistake number 1.
I realize that. I do realize that. Now, the Asmussen influence comes in heavily with me. So my next 2 are going to be 11 and 13. I don't like the post at all for either one of them. I think one of them is going to hit the board. I really do. And they've been running. Now, Echo Zulu is kind of a dumb pick. Let me place it. Well, it's too late. But anyway, I shouldn't even pick that one. I like Wicked Halo a lot.
Okay.
The horse hasn't done anything wrong. She runs her ass off every time. I don't really like the favorite Goodnight Olive that well. Probably will prove me wrong, but it's one of maidens, won 3 allowances, then stepped up and won a stakes. Obviously, good trainer, great jockey, horse is progressing. I just don't know whether she's good enough. So I'm going to try to beat the favorite in this one.
I think the big key to this race is going to be the pace, and I think that's why a lot of people are going to be on obligatory, like you and I are. It's those Asmussen runners really throw a monkey wrench into things a bit. I liked Echo Zulu before that 13 post. That's going to be tough.
Yeah.
She's going to have to gun it, and I'm just afraid that pace is going to melt down on her. That does benefit Wicked Halo. And this horse just ran a couple of weeks ago at Keeneland and looked super good. Wicked Halo is kind of a tricky one. I don't really know what to do with her in this race as well. Ricardo's on Echo, Tyler Gaffleon on Wicked Halo, but those horses kind of, that's who's been riding them. So you don't really read anything into that either.
Yeah. The way Wicked Halo ran the other day, pretty impressive. Yeah. Now, can she bounce back in this short time? I don't know. That's a question mark.
It is a big question mark. And this is a big step up for a 3-year-old. But it's a race that doesn't have – well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, I think it does have heavy hitters, but it's not like these older ones are just huge standouts compared to the 3-year-olds. So this is a tricky one. I could see this kind of blowing up, and I could see us being back here on Monday as we recap this, and we're like, Chi-Town Lady won, and how could we have gotten there type of thing,
Yeah.
It's going to be wicked, and it's going to be wild. All right, let's move on to one where could be, I know you don't like turf racing all that much, but this could be, the potential to be very exciting. How about this? Golden Pal goes for a Breeders' Cup win for the 3rd straight season. Of course, won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint over this track in 2020. 2021, won the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint while he's entered in here at Del Mar. He breaks from post 8. He looks like he's going to be lone speed, or at least not much out there with him. Did you go Golden Pal on top?
I did, but my goodness, it is hard to win 3 in a row. It's so hard to do. But the lone speed is supposed to be the best bet in horse racing.
Yep.
If he gets out and gets on there, who's going to get him? I don't know. So I did go with him on top. I got Highland Princess 2nd, Casa Creed 3rd, and Capanelli is my 4 pick.
So Kevin says he honestly thinks we're going to get 9-5 on Golden Pal with all the European love. So the Europeans have brought over some nice sprinters. There's no doubt about it. But, even like the Highfield Princess is the one that's going to take a lot of money.
Yeah.
She has shown speed, in her races overseas. Sometimes that speed does not translate to the United States. That's the key. Will she be able to keep Golden Pal within range? If she can, I think she can track him down. I am skeptical that these European horses will be able to run with him early. He breaks out of the gate so fast, and he can put you away within a few strides. That's going to be the key. Get out of the gate and go and get away from him, and I think he can do it. I went Golden Pal. I do not think it's going to be as easy as last season, though. I think there's going to be challengers sitting right there in the weight. Okay, to the next one. Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. This race for Saturday, this is probably the one I hated the most. Field of 11. I feel like you go a ton of different ways. Who did you end up putting as your top choice?
This one's very difficult to pick who's going to win. To me, Gunite is running as good as anybody right now. Ran 2 weeks ago. How is that going to translate? Cyberknife, will this distance be the thing for this horse? We know that's a very, very good horse. Will this distance be what the horse needs to jump up to the next level? in another category than what he's run before.
Yeah.
So you never know on this. You got Cody's Wish. He's very consistent. And then you got the Baffert horse and Laurel River. That's my top 4. I'm going to go ahead with Gunite. I'm not very confident in it, but the horse is running great. And asked me someone bring it out here if he didn't think he could win. So I'm going Gunite, Cyberknife, Cody's Wish, Laurel River.
So as you were talking, people were typing in their picks, and this is going to be a race where everybody is all over the board. You pick Gunite. Michael wants Laurel River.
Yeah.
Simon wants Pipeline. Vinny wants Senior Buscador. Bree wants Simplification.
There you go.
I picked Cyberknife. So within a minute, we got like 6 or 7 people on 6 or 7 different horses, and it's not like we were trying to even do it. It is so wide open. It is.
And Simplification is very interesting too. Dropping this horse down in distance.
Yeah, talk about Simplification a little bit.
Well, I mean, that's a horse that ran pretty well in the Triple Crown races. Just couldn't get there. So the drop down in distance, maybe they think this is going to make a difference, So I don't like that horse as well, but that could be an upset pick for sure in this race.
Yeah, and here's Vashon comes out with a Slow Down Andy. That's another horse we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't love that horse because of the pace, projected pace. I'm a little bit worried about that, but you mentioned Simplification. It's another one I don't really know how to work him in, but I get it. I get liking him.
I kind of like Pipeline.
Jared loves Pipeline.
Okay, that's enough for me then. All right.
Well, I mean, Jared says Pipeline is a standout on the thoroughgraphs. I don't really want a horse in the front in this race. I just feel like it's gonna melt down a little bit. And that's why I like Gunite. I think that horse sits a pretty good trip. Laurel River, I think, sits a pretty good trip. So you
think this distance is great for Cyberknife?
I think it's pretty good for Cyberknife. I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's better than 1.25 miles. In other words, I think they made the right decision on where to run him.
Are you like me and think Gunite's best is ahead of him, and he's going to be a star as a 4-year-old?
I do think that. I'm worried about the mile for Gunite. I think he would be better suited in the sprint.
Put him there though.
And that's the thing. You had Jackie's Warrior out of the same barn, and he just couldn't put him there.
No.
But yeah, I feel like.
But another angle you can play here is if he didn't think he could win at the mile, he wouldn't have brought him out here.
Well, he's going to be on my tickets. Don't get me wrong. You're right, because there's no really it's 2 weeks turnaround. You could have just left him in the barn, waited for maybe the Cigar Mile, maybe the Malibu, and just say, Breeders' Cup, maybe that's not for him. If this race was 7 furlongs, I'd probably pick him. I don't know about that 2-turn mile. Can he have that? Because he's a horse that has a tremendous kick down the lane. Will that kind of be negated around 2 turns? That's the worry, but I don't hate the pick. I don't hate the pick at all. So, all right, we could probably talk about that one all day. It's very complicated.
It's a great one.
Like I said, this is our first rundown. We'll have full breakdowns of all these races later on in the week as well. All right, let's go on and let's go to the Filly and Mare Turf now. Another really good field again this year for this race. Pretty good international runner in the 3 Nashua coming over. Did you play Nashua on top, or did you go elsewhere?
I hated this race. This one was really hard for me. I really like the 11. If she can get out, I really like her. I don't like the post very well, but this is a distance race, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
mile 3/16.
It won't matter as much. Been running very consistently. So I went with her on top, and then I went with the 3 second. And then I just drew the other 2 out of the hat. And I went with Virginia Joy and Reguer, I think it is. I like that horse a lot. That may be an upset possibility.
I
Had trouble with this one.
The longer I sat here and handicapped this, which was like 1 a.m. last night, when I finally decided, I couldn't go against an Italian. We're on the same horse. I just feel like she's so good right now.
She ran great last time.
She's been running great all year.
Yeah.
I think the 11 post will be no problem. I think she'll break. I think she'll get over. I am not seeing another horse going with her. If she gets out and she gets loose, good luck. I don't think even those good European horses are going to catch her. I think she's gone.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Why is Rosario on that horse?
What do you mean?
Well, he usually uses Pratt. And he's got Irad on the 10.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't Rosario rated a notch below those two right now?
Well, I think in terms of
horse, and that's why Rosario's on that horse.
I think in terms of overall jockeys, you're probably going to want those two. But look at the last 2 times she's raced. Rosario's been aboard.
Okay.
She won both of them. And yeah, Kevin again steals right what I said. Yes, Irad had her, and that's Irad or Pratt, probably Brown's #1 guy. But I think in this situation, he just made a choice, and he said, "Look, I'm going to go Rosario. I'm going to change things up. This horse has been losing close races.
Yep,
let's go Rosario."
Well,
and that's what happened. He went.
You just answered my question. If he's 2 for 2 with Rosario, that's the answer to the question.
That's right.
I'm not as big a jockey guy as most people are. I don't blame jockeys very often.
Well, let me tell you something about Rosario. He's a very polarizing jockey, okay, without any doubt, and I'm not arguing that. Don't underestimate him on a speed horse. He has a reputation of coming from way out of it.
Yeah,
and that's the kind of jockey he is. He actually rides speed horses better than horses that come from out of it, because when he gets those past performances and he says, all right, he got to go to the lead, he doesn't overthink it. He just goes to the lead. He's a very strong finishing rider. Well, think about that. If I'm in front and I have a jockey who's a very strong finishing rider, well, I'm already ahead of these horses when he's finishing on them like that.
And common sense will tell you if his percentage is not, or he doesn't look like he rides as good on horses that come from way back, it's because they're coming from way back. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's hard to catch them when you got to come from way back. So
now, here's the deal. He is a very inconsistent rider.
Yeah.
Am I going to be shocked if for whatever reason he's strangled this horse and we don't have that lead we thought? I'm not going to be shocked. But listen, I have to assume he's going to ride her like he did the last 2 times. And if he does, if she's good enough, she'll win.
He's not an idiot. Why wouldn't he?
Some people might disagree with that comment you just made, but
he's won too damn many races. I tell you what, I'd take him.
Well, I would take him. Yeah, I would take him to ride mine as well. All right, let's move on. We're on the same horse. I didn't think we would be there. All right. Steve Asmussen was quoted earlier in the week saying Jackie's Warrior is too good of a horse not to be a Breeders' Cup winner. This is the 3rd and final try to get it done. As a 2-year-old over this track, he was 4th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. We figured out that's really not his fault. Finishing 4th, going 2 turns, that was pretty good for him. He's not a 2-turn horse.
Right.
Last year was very, very, very disappointing. He was a huge favorite off the board. Just didn't show up with his best. This year, can he do it?
I'm really worried. Aren't you?
No.
Well, he's not been running as well, I don't think. Now, he's pretty rested. I think he's got him ready. Yeah, Trish, you're looking at the Jackie Warrior fan club here too. I picked him because I cannot pick against him.
Yeah.
I hope for sentimental reasons, and we've said this so many times on this show, horse racing doesn't bode well for people who are sentimental. They don't care, or it doesn't care.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be wonderful to see this champion go out on top?
It would.
I've seen this horse a lot at Oaklawn the last time Sandy and I went, Asmussen had him schooling in the paddock by himself. We sit there, we're just mesmerized for 20 minutes because he didn't like the paddock at all. And watching Asmussen work with him was really good. So I've got him first. I think now it's just me. I don't think the competition is too stiff.
There it is. Yep.
And so I'm a little more confident because of that. I went with the 6th, second, Kamari, third, and who's that? American Theorem in 4th. I think Jackie's a lot better than these horses if he fires.
And that's the big key. And Rodney is the biggest Jack Christopher fan on our channel. And I know you got to be crushed, Rodney, that Jack's not going to run. And I am too. And I think Jack would have beaten him, honestly.
I do too.
The way this race sets up, Jackie's Warrior should not lose, period.
Yeah, if Jackie's right and everything goes right, doesn't get bumped or anything like that, he ought to win this. And
got to break well, got to get to the lead. And I don't
get to the lead
over him home.
I just don't think anybody's going to run him down.
Here's the deal. So Kamari definitely has a shot. I think she's going to run pretty big. I get why people want to use her, and it makes total sense. I don't think she's quite good enough to run down Jackie if he's loose on the lead, and that's going to be really, really tough. The other horse I like is Elite Power, but you have to look at it. He's getting better. He's making strides. He doesn't match up with Jackie's Warrior, though. He just doesn't. No. So hopefully he shows up with a big race. And if he does, I do think he'll win this one. This has not been a great division all year long, and he's taken advantage of that. And it just kind of, the stars seem to have aligned. I was against him for the longest time in this race, but the stars really have aligned. Also, again, I'll mention it again. I think Gunite would have had a chance to beat him in the spot.
I kind of do too. But there's no way Asmussen could put that horse. He couldn't do it. He just could not. He's not going to do that with Jackie. He's just not.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to the mile, the turf mile. This is another really good field here again this year. This was one that I thought was super tricky. Field of 14. End of the day, I've changed my pick about 4 times on here. I landed on Modern Games. I just thought, you idiot, you're overthinking this. This horse is pretty darn good. Going to get revenge, so to speak, for the bettors this year. I know you didn't go with Modern Games. Who did you go with?
I hate this race. I absolutely hated it. There's too many.
Yeah.
And a couple of horses I really like. They're way outside, and I ended up going with one, but I don't like it at all. I don't really like Modern Games that well. I went with Kinross. I don't really know why. I just did. Time Form picked him. I looked at him. I don't know. I don't like that outside. But it's a mile. He's got time to get up there. If he can get out of the gate good and get to the inside quickly. I've always liked Regal Glory. I always have. So I picked that horse second. The horse I really like, and I think you do too, is Domestic Spending.
Yeah.
Don't you like that horse?
Oh, I thought he was the best horse in the country for a little while last year.
I know it, and I just hate that post. I think I would have picked him to win. Got him third, and then I got Modern Games fourth, and that's probably dumb. So there could be an upset in this one. I just don't. I think this field it's pretty close.
Yeah,
Who did you go with first?
I went Modern Games.
No, I mean you said you were trying to decide. Who were some of them you were looking at?
I had Kinross on top at first, and I couldn't get over the post, and I don't know. I'm not sure. I had Dream Loper on top, and I
don't know about that one.
Didn't think that horse was good enough. You're gonna think I'm crazy for this one. I had Pogo, the one horse, on top for a little while at 20-1. I think this is a nice horse. I think this is one you need to, if anything, maybe play underneath. I think Pogo's coming in this race really, really well. I think he's going to appreciate the firm ground. But end of the day, I couldn't get Modern Games race at Woodbine out of my head. I just, it's just too good.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, the guide will be finished tomorrow. When you hear me on Thursday, I might have a different horse on top.
Yeah.
This one I just really debated for a while. End of the day, though, I just kind of thought, you've loved Modern Games for like over a year now.
Yeah.
He was my best bet on the Friday card last year. He's just done nothing to make me think he can't win. He's been very good. I just didn't want to overthink this one.
This is a race. If I was at the track, I'd go get a cold drink and a hot dog. I wouldn't bet it.
All right, Vashon. He likes Pogo as well.
All right.
I don't know, Vashon, and maybe you can chime in if you want with your comment on him, but when I watch the replays, it's just every replay of his, it's like it wasn't, wow, he's off the charts, but it's like, this horse is solid. This horse shouldn't be 20-1. This horse can win at the right kind of setup. So, I almost put him on top, like I said. So we'll see what happens. I'm the opposite of you. Like, I wouldn't go get a drink for this one because I want to see it. Like, I want to see what happens. I just feel like this is the race out of the 14. When I sit down after this thing is over and I look back, I just have this feeling I'm going to say, I had it and I changed it, but when you've had like 6 horses on top, that's easy to say.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, let me rephrase. I don't want to miss the race. So if the line is long, I won't stand in it. What I meant was I wouldn't bet it.
I knew what you meant. Honestly, guys, I feel like the last 6 races on this of this thing, not that the other ones are bad. They're not. I mean, I think every race is good. I don't think there's a bad race on this. The last 6, it's like, this is must-see shit. Like, in Italian versus Euros, wow. Jackie's Warrior trying to do it, wow. This turf mile, whew.
Yep.
That being said, let's go to maybe one of the best horses running in all the world, and she could prove it with a win here. The 3-year-old Nest in the Distaff, trying to face Olders in this spot and beat her stablemate Malathought. This is going to be awesome. This race will be great. The number 6 Nest, she's my top pick. I have been lucky to see this horse run in person, and it is something special. Did you go with Nest on top?
How could you not? I mean, that horse has done nothing wrong. Nothing except get better. And that's not wrong. So until somebody beats her, you have to pick this horse. She could run in the Classic, I think. Yeah. I think she could.
She's the type of horse, and you could see the all caps kind of comments that we're getting pouring in here. She's the type you do really fall in love with. The ones that just bury you. And that is what she's been able to do. Yeah,
she's really good. And I love watching her. She's just gotten better and better and better as the years gone on. Wasn't very good in the Kentucky Oaks, and Secret Oath got her. But that was the last time Secret Oath has seen anything but her rear end from then on. So,
and I want to give a shout out to Truth Exposed, because she said right after that race, and Truth, you've said it over and over on our shows, and great commenter as always, but said right after that race, Secret Oath will never beat Nest again. Forget about it. Nest is way better. She just got a horrible trip. And boy, is she right. She's dusted her the last couple times.
And they've been close. And Secret Oath ran her ass off in a couple of those races and still finished 5 and 6 lengths behind her.
I think Secret Oath kind of tailed off a bit, except go watch the Alabama. I thought Secret Oath ran fantastic in the Alabama and could not make up a length on the course.
Well, I think Nest has just whipped Secret Oath down. Yeah, I really believe that. Yeah. When you keep running your ass off and you're behind by 5 lengths, it's hard not to get run down a little bit. Even if you're an animal, you can understand it. Anyway, I like, it's kind of a secret weapon here. You know where I'm going.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
Watch this horse. Number 8, Society. If that horse gets on the lead and they don't go get that horse soon enough, that baby can run, and she's got a shot. So I've got her second, because I think Malathought may finish second. It's it's a distinct possibility. She may win, but I don't think she's good enough to beat Nest. And I think if Society can get out and get a lead, Malathot may not catch Society. This is a horse to watch in the future. That's for sure, because this horse can fly. And then I've got the other Asmussen horse, fourth, Clairiere, who sometimes wins races we don't think has a chance to win, and this would be one of them. But I think she's on her way down.
Yeah, I mean, she kind of had some trouble last time out, and we haven't seen her since, so we'll see. But I knew you'd have Society up there, a horse you liked. You really loved that race in the Cotillion. She's kind of a cool horse, and, you know, she's one that she's going to make you earn it. She's going to make you go out and get her.
Yep.
I would not be shocked. Let's put it that way. I would not be shocked if she wins that race. This looks like to have a pace advantage. One thing, let's see, Trish, you said it. There it is. Trish Smith says a wake at midnight is going to speed the pace up in this race. I thought that was true. I was, as a person who was a little bit worried about Society, I do like that the 5's in there. I think that will help a bit, but Nest better not get too far behind. I'll just put it that way.
That horse, the day we watched her, never missed a stride.
No.
Just kept on running. Could have won by whatever she wanted to.
Yes, absolutely. Could not agree more. All right, let's move on. 2 to go. It's the turf. It's exciting. It's a field of 13. This is a true who's who here. The international runners have come up. They're a pretty strong group from there. And our little baby, as I like to call her, Warlike Goddess, the filly, taking on the boys in this spot. It made my heart feel good. I know who you've got picked. Let the people know.
Well, I picked her.
Yep.
What the heck? Because I'm rooting for her. And she's good. You know.
She's damn good.
Yeah. I mean, she's got a shot.
Hell yeah.
Thing goes right. Probably it's going to take a lot, but a lot can happen when you got a field this big. And there's a lot of good horses in here. So what the heck? I want her to win. So I went in and picked her, and she's not a stupid pick. You know, she's got a chance. I like the 5 a lot also. And after that, there's several. I went with the 11th, 3rd, and Nation's Pride in 4th. And I'm going to root like crazy for the goddess to come through here.
I think, you know, bets aside, and certainly we'll all root for our bets first 99% of the time. But, you know, if you have her on ticket, you can root for her. And if you see your bets may or be in trouble, this is one like, well, I'll just put it like Michael said, he's going to take a shot against Warlike Goddess. Yeah, you're going to be upset if you lose, but at the end of the day, if you're going to get beat by somebody, you would hope it would be her, because I don't know how you don't like her as far as a racehorse. Comes from behind and beat the boys so easily. Just kind of destroyed our better turf horses over here. I heard an interview with Bill Mott. He basically said, look, she's the best turf horse we've got in this country. And I have no doubt about that. Does that mean she's going to win? I don't know. There's some really good horses coming over. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm gonna probably have her on a ticket. Haven't decided exactly how or how I'm going to use her, but I am worried she's going to take too much money. You know, like if you could lock in 9-2, 5-1, that's about right. I'm afraid she's going to take money. I'm just afraid people are going to feel like you, and I don't blame them. And they're going to be like, I want it better. I want this filly to win.
I root for her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I picked Rebel's Romance on top. I'm not bullish on this horse though. I don't think he is just otherworldly, but I do think he's really good. And, you know, Charlie Appleby, how can you kind of go against that? You know,
after that, good luck.
What's that?
I had trouble after that.
Yeah. Mishriff, Trish talked about Mishriff. Honestly, I don't know. Charles thinks Frankie's going to take this one. That's Frankie Dettori, jockey of Mishriff. I didn't really know what to do with Mishriff, Trish, and probably going to have to just make the ticket, but I'm not like in love with that horse, but 6-1 is probably the right price. This is a really, really tough race. And it feels like the turf, we either get a superstar of all superstars and they come over and they romp in here, or we get what we have this year where it's just like they're all pretty good, but none of them are great. I don't know. Kevin B said Mishriff looks over the hill to me on replays. He hasn't been good in his last couple. I don't know. It's going to be tough. This is a tough race. Okay, let's go to the finale. Let's go to the classic. This may not be a long discussion, but it might be. I don't know. I don't know your thoughts. All right, Field of 8 Classic, richest race in the United States. Where are you going?
Well, I'm going to make everybody mad, but anyway. I went with a 4 simply because I listened to this show.
Okay.
Okay? It's the only reason I went with the 4.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, I looked at who the 4 has beat. And the
Okay.
best horse I found is 30-1 in this race.
Okay. Well, go on with it.
The horse has beat nobody.
I mean, this channel is all Flightline. It's not going to hurt to have a little bit of a Flightline. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to use a little Tyler's Tribe analogy here.
Okay.
Nobody's picking Tyler's Tribe, and she has won by more links than Flightline has.
Right.
I'm not saying this horse isn't great. Okay. I don't think this horse is a shoe-in because the best horse he's beat is Happy Saver. Go back and look at who he's beat.
Yeah.
Now I know he's killed him, and I know he's impressive, and it won't bother me. I picked him.
Yeah.
But if I hadn't listened to you guys, I'm not sure I would. But I've seen him. He is fabulous. He's fabulous. If he blows this field away, are we going to say this might be the best horse to never win a Kentucky Derby?
It very well could be. I mean, he's going to be right up there. He's going to be up there with some of the all-timers as far as a talent level perspective. Of course, He hasn't had a lot of races, so how great is he in the all-time scheme of things? Hard to say, but
he'll have to come back and run next year to get to that category, don't you think?
Yeah.
And I doubt if they run him because he's fragile.
Mm-hmm.
He's shown he's fragile. So I think this will be the last time we see him, probably. I am really looking forward to this race. I want to see this horse when he stares Epicenter in the eye, when he stares Life and Good in the eye, when those horses go, hey, you little son of a bitch, we're going to kick your ass. I want to, don't think they don't talk. They do. I want to see what he does when old Epicenter comes snorting up there too and says, who do you think you are? I want to see it. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. Unfortunately, I'm going to be at a football game and I won't get to see it live. But I think this is a great field. I hope he wins to verify everything. I do. Yeah. And he probably will. You guys are not wrong. All of you are on this horse and you think he's one of the greatest ever. And I trust you perfectly. That's why I picked him. Then it gets tricky. Where are you going next? After that, how is it going to shake out? How's it going to go? If he just blows horses away, who's going to keep running out of this bunch? Mm-hmm. She got champions here. And if this horse is 10 lengths ahead of them, they may say, we're shutting this down, So I don't know. So you just kind of got to go with who you think's the next best horse. So I went, of course, with Epicenter second. And I went Life is Good third. And I picked Taba in fourth.
I love how you've made everybody mad in the chat.
I really don't care.
No, I just love it. People.
Why are you mad?
It's an opinion. You don't have to love every horse, Look, the bottom line is
I picked the horse, guys.
The bottom line is you picked the horse, but you are making a point that isn't completely wrong.
He's not beat anybody.
He really hasn't. The horse. Now, it's not that he hasn't beaten anybody. It's the horses that he's beaten have then went on to do nothing.
Right.
Now, the horses before were pretty solid, right? Country Grammar is pretty solid. Speaker's Corner is pretty solid.
Yeah. So,
but they haven't gone on to do anything. So, hey, listen. You may hate this opinion. A, you picked the horse. So, and B,
I picked the horse.
We're talking about facts. I mean, Epicenter has been in tougher races. Life is Good has been in tougher races. Now, the one thing about it, Life is Good lost to Country Grammar in Dubai. And then you saw what happened to him when he faced Flightline. So it does work both ways. But look, if you're trying to beat Flightline, this is the case. That's it. There's two cases. One, you're just guessing that he's not going to show up with his best race. And you could do that, and that's fine. Two, you just kind of going to say, hey, look, I don't like those California horses that he's been beating. I don't think they're that good. I think if he tries to get to Life is Good and he digs in, maybe Flightline might not go with him. Or if Epicenter comes up to him, maybe he won't go with him. Here's the flawed logic for Papa Dude, though, in my pushback.
That's fine.
I don't think Epicenter will ever be within 5 lengths of Flightline.
He may not.
I don't think any horse will look Flightline in the eye. Well, I'll take that back. The one horse that Flightline's going to have to look in the eye is Life is Good. He will have to go get Life is Good. He'll have to look him in the eye, and that's the horse he'll have to put away. I think he will not have much trouble doing that. I don't think Life is Good is a 1.25 mile horse. I think, Flightline just a little bit better than him, period. I think Flightline is just in a class by himself, and I don't think other horses are really going to bother him because I don't think they're good enough to be within range of him. I will say this. If he stubs his toe and he's running down that stretch and he hasn't quite separated like he did at Del Mar, and he hasn't quite gotten that trip we all think and project he's going to do where he turns for home and he's 4 or 5 ahead of him, and like I'm expecting, if that doesn't happen, Epicenter will beat him because Epicenter has developed into something really special. If Flightline can't separate, if Flightline just doesn't quite run quite as well, Epicenter will beat him. Epicenter will make him earn it. Unfortunately, I still don't think Epicenter is within the range of Flightline. So I have to go Flightline on top.
Right. Well, I do too. And it's not I didn't pick him. I don't think he's a lock.
Yeah.
And we're getting fighting going on here on the chat.
Well,
I sure didn't want to start that. But, I mean, I think it's a valid point.
Yeah.
He hasn't really. And I think it's a shame that he's been injured and didn't get to run in the Triple Crown races.
Yeah. Now, a couple of things to kind of, I don't know, debunk's the right word, or maybe give ease that I don't think are good reasons. Plus, Sadler's shipping record over the West is terrible. He won the Breeders' Cup Classic with Accelerate at Churchill Downs. So, I mean, do you think he's better than Accelerate? I mean, I was against Accelerate because I was like, Sadler's not going to win shipping, and he was able to win with that horse.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
Probably he's going to be able to win with a horse like Flightline.
Yeah. I just think it's such a shame that we did not get to see him in the Triple Crown races. I
think it's a shame, even that for sure. But in any really big race, we didn't get to see him.
Right. It's just a shame that we've got. And it's odd how it works sometimes. Here is a true superstar.
Yeah.
That was injured.
Yeah.
It's just now gotten healthy and still hasn't raced very much. So
yeah, exactly. Well, I think this time next week, we'll do a Monday recap show for this. When we're getting together, I think one of two things are going to happen. You're going to get on here and you're going to be laughing. You're going to say Epicenter. I knew it, even though I picked Flightline and chickened out like a little wuss. I knew Epicenter was going to win. Or I'm going to say, look, we're both going to say, look, this is one of the best horses from a talent perspective we've ever seen. I'll be singling Flightline.
And I guarantee you, I will not be on here laughing because there's been too many times I have to eat my words, and I will not, because I just wanted to point out I've just not seen him against the caliber of what this field is.
Look, I haven't been saying it for weeks. That is a argument that can be made. It is. The horses that he beat, their next races have been bad. period. So if you want to take that and bet against him, you can. I'm not going to do that, but if you
I
want
don't
to,
think against him. Do you think he'll stay 3 to 5?
I think probably 2 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I think 2 to 5. I don't think it's a bad morning line, but
No.
I think 2 to 5. Yeah. One last thing. Do you think if my scenario plays out and he just zooms past Life is Good, do you think Life is Good kind of throws it in?
Well, I think we talked about this the other day. Yes.
Yeah.
I kind of think he might.
Yeah.
Because remember, these are horses. They don't care how much money they make. So he may just say, I can't catch him. I'm not going to kill myself.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I will say with this, so if Flightline like gets into a battle, which is something we're not expecting. Well, I'm not.
You're stupid here. You're stupid, Vashon.
No, I mean, I agree. Listen, like I just said, I'm kind of with Vashon. If for whatever reason they get to him, I would trust somebody who's been there, done that before. But again, I don't think they're going to get to him, and that's the key. That was the key, even the Pacific Classic when it was Country Grammar, and I was just like, just get away from him, bury him, and I don't think he'll ever be able to get to you. That's kind of how I feel here. You got to bury him. You've got that elite talent, and that elite speed. Bury them on the turn. Yeah, Epicenter, Taba, they might make their runs at you, but you never really see them.
Right.
And that's kind of what he's going to have to do, and that is the elite ability that he has. So we'll see if he will, if he'll show that. Michael says, hey, if you single Flightline Papa Dude, he will unseat Pratt right out of the gate.
You are absolutely right, Michael. No doubt about it.
I'm shocked you didn't pick Epicenter. I am.
Me?
Yeah, I'm shocked.
Well, I got to go with what you guys say, And you guys say he's that much better than the rest of them. I believe you completely. I would hesitate to single him. But I hesitate to single any horse. So there you go.
Queen still sending that bad energy. Vicky chimes in. Vicky will be seeing you soon, and it says the same thing. Step Center has that fight that Papa Dude is talking about. Life is Good kind of stalls a little bit and passed. So there you go.
We'll see.
Yeah, and I agree with Davey. You come in here, you pick Asmussen all day long, and then you don't do it here in the big one.
Davey, I got to listen to my boys, and they told me not to take him.
Okay. I didn't call you up and say don't take him.
No, I know you didn't, but I've heard all this for months, and it finally beats into your brain a little bit. I wanted to pick another horse so bad just to really be a jerk, but I cannot do it.
Yeah, no, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Yeah, Michael, that was a heartbreaker at Mahoning Valley today. Holy hell. Yeah, I know. Yeah, what happens? We had one, last week. Can't remember the track now. Indiana. Had one at Indiana. So it was real good. And then I thought we were going to have another one at Mahoning. So it didn't happen. All right, listen, that's it. We've done enough. You only came on here to talk about Tennessee and Georgia. So
I did.
Let's end the show with giving Papa Dude what he wants.
Quick. I'm going to pick the ones to talk about. We're not going to go through every damn one of these.
Okay. All right.
All right. Here we go. How is Oregon State number 24? Anyway, we're not talking about that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No reason.
Now, everybody that tuned in for the horse content, they're going to get a real treat now. This guy's great at college football. Let's go.
Okay. I don't know about that. But anyway, skip Ohio State Northwestern. No reason to.
Okay.
The line's 38.5. I bet it if you want to, but I wouldn't. All right. This is an interesting one. TCU, Texas Tech.
Yep.
Tech's coming off a horrible showing last week against Baylor. The line now, you don't have the lines up there.
It's right there.
Where? Oh, 9.5. I see it. You got a different page.
Here, hold on.
No, I see it.
There you go. It's on there.
Oh, now we're going. Yeah. All right. If you want to got a little extra money left from the horse races after you bet against Flightline and you've made a shit pile of money.
First, the game's at 11 o'clock. You're not this is before the horse race.
All right. The Juvenile, the morning, whatever, on Friday. 9.5. This could be closer. TCU might have a little bit of a letdown. Tech might play them a little closer to that. That's one to look at. The next one,
Okay.
North Carolina, Virginia, 7.5. Virginia lost 14-12 in 4 overtimes last week. This is a hell of a ball club.
They're
To
bad.
Miami.
They're bad.
I think 7.5. I think North Carolina covers that pretty easy. What do you
Agreed.
think?
Yeah.
All right, another sneaky game right here. Tulane at Tulsa. Tulsa plays very well at home. They're not bad. Tulane is not a powerhouse. They're playing great. They're very well coached. 7.5 might be too many. What do you think, Aaron?
I think Tulane. I think Tulsa sucks this year.
Okay. Just saying, could be. It's early. Is it an early game?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, 11 o'clock.
All right. Shall we save this one for last?
Nope. Do it now.
All right. Is this not one of the best games potentially in years?
I think so.
You've got a Tennessee team that is so impressive. Offensively, no one has stopped them. Going up against a great defense with an offense that's okay. It's not bad. It's good, but it's not great. Tennessee showed defense last week. I give them a shot in this game. I don't know if they're going to win. I give them a chance. I wouldn't have said that before I saw them last week, but they throttled Kentucky. Their defense was fantastic. I give them a chance. I don't know how good Georgia is. What do you think?
Listen, it's the battle of the heavyweights as far as a great offense versus a great defense.
Yep.
What wins out? That's the question. I have been skeptical that Georgia is quite like last year. I think they're good still. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if they're great.
I don't think the home field is going to bother Tennessee that much. They went into LSU and beat the shit out of them. That's not easy. I really like this Tennessee team a lot. I think Georgia probably gets away with a win, but I don't know. 8.5 is a lot of points.
I'll take Tennessee plus the 8.5. How about that?
I like it. The Oregon, nothing there. Nothing. Michigan State, Illinois should win.
Yeah.
Penn State, who cares? Oklahoma State only a 2-point favorite over Kansas. A little strange.
Well, shit. Oklahoma State got their ass kicked last week.
They were awful. That was unexplainable to me. So I'd stay away from that one. Tennis, Syracuse, Pittsburgh. I think the bubbles burst on Syracuse. Here's one. Central Florida at Memphis.
Okay.
Memphis is pretty good. They're not great. Central Florida coming off of their biggest win in a long time. They beat Cincinnati. They got to go on the road. Iffy. This is one you might look at. I think Memphis might scalp them. They may get them.
Listen, the last time I bet Memphis,
I know.
I quit betting football for a week after. They lost one of the worst losses I've ever seen in my life. Houston game. Go watch the end of the Memphis-Houston game. Bullshit. Memphis covered the whole game. I quit.
Oh.
I quit betting football for
Way
a week.
ahead.
It was awful.
Yeah.
I'm not betting Memphis. Go Central Florida.
I understand your pain. Liberty in Arkansas, 13.5. Liberty's sneaky good. Kevin, you didn't have to throw that in there.
Yeah, Kevin.
You just got on the bad list, my friend. I think Arkansas covers, don't you?
This is a weird game. I don't know.
I think they do.
I think Arkansas will win. I don't know if they'll cover. I think they're going to win this game, though. Yeah.
I don't think Liberty's that good. Yeah. Alabama, LSU, 13.5. A lot of people are thinking Alabama's not as good as they have been. I think they're pretty good. I would not bet LSU in this one.
I think the Tide are going to play a pretty darn good game.
I think they're better than what people are giving them credit for.
Yeah, I don't think LSU's quite ready for Alabama.
No, I don't either.
Yeah.
Texas, Kansas State, Wildcats 2.5-point favorite.
No, Texas is the 2.5-point favorite.
Oh, it is. Oh, God. Yeah, I just saw that because I think Kansas State should be a 2.5-point favorite.
Right.
Little situation at K-State right now. The backup quarterback has taken them to a new level. At least he did last week. And if Martinez is ready, do you put him back in at quarterback? So
no, you don't. He's trash. Leave the other guy in there.
I think K-State wins the game.
I do
Rutgers,
too. I don't think Texas should be favored in this game.
no, I don't either.
Okay, Kansas State. Good pick. Anywhere else?
Clemson, Notre Dame, interesting game.
Upset alert! Upset alert!
Yeah, this is Clemson's kind of been looking to get beat a couple of times. The Irish are very, very difficult to beat in these kind of games when they're underdogs. 4 points is not very many. And I think if Clemson wins, they win by more than that, maybe 6, maybe 7. But Notre Dame may beat them. So that's one you might want to look at. That's a toughie.
Here's the difference. Clemson's been winning close games against the Wake Forests, North Carolina States of the world. Notre Dame will think they can beat them.
You betcha.
And it's on the road, really tough environment. I think Notre Dame's are really odd teams.
They are.
Some weeks they look good.
They do.
And some weeks they don't look like they could beat anybody. I think if we get the good Notre Dame, I think they'll be able to stop Clemson enough to where we may see an upset alert Saturday night. I think this is going to be close.
I think so too. It's a night game.
Yep.
I just think Clemson offensively is suspect. And when you're suspect on the road against a good defense, you can get beat.
I think they're begging to get beat. We'll see.
Yeah. If they get through this one, they're probably going to go undefeated.
Yep.
So anyway, Utah, Arizona, nothing there. Good game in the ACC. Wake Forest, North Carolina State. What happened to Wake last week? They were 8 turnovers, I think, is what happened. North Carolina State's wounded. I think Wake goes in there and wins. UCLA to Arizona State in the desert. Maybe. I think UCLA is a lot better than Arizona State.
They might cover. Arizona State might cover.
They might.
Yeah.
And California, USC, it's at home, so USC shouldn't have any trouble.
No.
They're kind of fading like Lincoln's teams do. Only winning by 8 against Arizona the other night.
Explain to me something. Can you explain to me something?
I'll try.
Why do his defenses get worse as the season goes on?
I don't know.
It just seems like that every year. At OU, it's be like first year, it's like, yeah, we got pretty good defense this year. And by the end of the year, it's like, we are terrible.
They don't develop. They don't get better. And I really don't know why. I don't know.
Yeah. It was still a nice, anytime you go out to Arizona and win, it's a good win. I don't care
I know.
how bad they are.
Anywhere, it's good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just saying it was a little, not too good, really.
No.
So, anyway, tonight the BCS comes out.
Yes.
I think it'll be Georgia 1, Tennessee 2, Ohio State 3, Michigan 4.
I think you're right. I think that makes a ton of sense. I think
They
you're right.
could move Ohio State to 2. They might.
They might. Yeah. I think they'll have Georgia, Tennessee 1 and 2 in some kind of order because I think they want that number 1 versus number 2 matchup.
Yeah. But one of them's not going to be in the top 4 next week.
That's right.
Unless it's triple overtime thriller, and then how do you drop one of them out?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So wouldn't it be interesting if Clemson loses at Notre Dame, Alabama wins big at LSU, and the Tennessee-Georgia losers by 10 or something? There'd be Alabama right up there in the top 4, wouldn't they? The next week, I don't think they put TCU above Alabama.
Yeah, no, I think Alabama will be a top 4 team.
If that
they have a great shot to accomplish everything that they're set out to accomplish. And
that's right.
Truth kind of said it a little bit earlier. They lost the game at Tennessee, but man, they had a lot of things not go their way from an officiating standpoint, and it's still a loss. But again, at the end of the day, they're still a really good team.
17 penalties.
Yeah.
In that game.
Yeah.
Some questionable calls. Number one, you can't have 17 penalties. And then they allowed 2 75-yard touchdown bombs. And that's going to get you beat. They generally learn from those kind of things. So,
all right. Final thing we're going to talk about, because the rankings did just come out. And let's see. I've got it pulled up on the phone here. The number 1 spot is Tennessee.
I can't argue with that. The only reason I put Georgia at 1, they're the defending champs. No one's beat them. I think they deserve to be number 1 until they're beat.
Number 2, Ohio State.
I don't like that one at all.
No. Number 3 is Georgia. Number 4
Oh,
is Clemson.
You have got to be kidding me. How can
No,
Clemson
Michigan.
be above Michigan? See, they do this on purpose. I swear to God they do, just to get everybody pissed off and talk
I
about
agree.
it.
I agree. I think Tennessee is logical to be number 1.
I have no problem with that. The only reason I put Georgia ahead of them was they're defending champs and no one's beat them.
Right.
And they really haven't done anything wrong. So, but I remember we said last week, Tennessee has the best win. They beat Alabama.
That's right. And speaking of Alabama, they debut at number 6, Michigan.
Okay, that's exactly where we thought they would be.
Yeah.
The only difference I have here is I thought Michigan would be ahead of Clemson, and I think they should be.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, Michigan has been pretty good, pretty solid, beat the hell out of Penn State, who gave the number 2 team all they wanted.
Would you agree with Rodney's comment here? I agree with what you're saying, by the way. Would you agree with Rodney's comment? Clemson versus Michigan. He thinks that Michigan would embarrass Clemson. I don't know about embarrass. I think they would beat them.
They would beat them. Clemson's defense is good enough to keep it fairly close.
Mm-hmm.
And if Clemson doesn't turn it over, I think you're looking 28-10.
Yeah, I think it'd be a slugfest type of game, and maybe 21-10, and something like that.
They did this on purpose, so we'll sit around and bitch about it for a week. I guarantee you that's what they do.
Well, here's the good news. This time next week, we'll know all the scores, and then we can project the next one and have us something to talk about next week.
On Monday, we'll have a whole new deal because one of those teams is going to get beat this week.
Right. That's right. Well,
it's a shame.
Papa Dude came to pick sports, and we let him do it for about 10 minutes on the show. So.
Yeah, you made me make a fool out of myself with this horse racing when I figured this would just be, I would just fire my picks, you tear them up, and that's it. You wanted opinions, and look what happens.
No, I thought it was our best show we've ever done.
Well, I'm glad you did. Okay. No, it was a lot of fun.
All right. So
one quick thing. I know you got to go do something. Anything surprised you about the NFL last week? Off the top of your head. Or did you even have time to worry about it?
Off the top of my head, I thought the Browns game was extremely surprising last night.
Shock.
No, nothing else really jumped out at me. It's just like, wow, I can't believe that just happened.
I thought the 49ers throttling the Rams.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah.
McCaffrey was awesome in that game.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to make a difference. I watched something that I think is noteworthy to watch. The Buffalo-Green Bay game.
Mm-hmm.
In the first half of that game, Buffalo killed them.
Yeah.
I thought Green Bay found themselves a little bit in the second half. They played very well in the second half of that game. And they made that semi-close.
Yeah.
I think you might need to watch them the rest of the year because the NFC, as far as wild card goes, wide open. They're not going to win the division, but it's wide open. I thought they found themselves a little bit. I was kind of impressed by the way they played in the second half. You might not have seen any of it. You might have given up on it.
Mm-hmm.
I just had it on because I like to watch Josh Allen. But I thought they played a lot with a lot more spirit. They could have got beat 45-7. They were getting drubbed.
One popped into my head as you were talking.
Yep.
I thought Seattle played really well against the Giants. I think Seattle is kind of that team that's like they've kind of decided, yeah, actually we are decent. Like we should have listened to everybody. Like I think we're pretty good.
They got a tough game this week. They got to go to Arizona. It's a sneaky game.
If you lose that game, I would be disappointed.
I would be scared to death if I was a big time
fan.
And how about the way Carolina lost?
Well,
you cannot have that happen.
I'm telling you guys, I've watched all of Carolina's games, and I know you could say this about a lot of NFL teams. They could easily have a winning record. Easily. Yeah. The margin of error and the difference between 2-6 and say 5-3, 4-4 in the NFL is so small.
Yeah.
Unbelievably small, and they just continue to shoot themselves in the foot. This was the extreme in New Orleans or in Atlanta, but yeah.
Well, you get this guy who goes crazy and gets that penalty.
Mm-hmm.
not just thinking about himself. He's not
And
thinking.
that's your star. Like, that's your big time player, too.
Yeah, act like you've done this before. You've got to have more of a brain than that.
Yeah.
Then you put your kicker, who's shaky anyway, in a situation where, it's 48 yards. There's a lot of people miss those.
Well,
and he did.
And then he misses a field goal in overtime.
Which it never should have been in overtime.
No, it never should have. But again, you have another chance, and it's just,
and everybody says, well, why wasn't that coach in his face? That's pro football. You don't get in those guys' face because they got more power than you do.
That's right. Yeah.
And you just have to sit there and get your ass fired. Of course, he's an interim coach anyway, but what a way to lose a football game.
Papa Dude, Kevin B wants a question before we get out.
God, Kevin, I'm going to let you down. I don't really have one.
Come on. You've got all these people. We could introduce them to the segment.
I know, but the problem is this was going to be a rush show, and I didn't get anything. See if I can think of something off the top of my head. I can't.
One time.
I know. Well, help me out. Somebody come up with a question.
Okay, I got one for you.
Did you get one off of Magic's?
Nope. I just thought of this one.
Okay.
When you were a kid.
Oh, my God. It's been 100 years ago.
What was your favorite Halloween costume?
Oh, this is funny. I never liked Halloween very well.
I hate it. So that's where I get it.
I didn't hate it. I just never got into it much. Me and my buddy were talking about this morning. We would go around the neighborhood a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking today, the reason I went around the neighborhood was to bring the candy home so my dad could eat it. Your grandfather loved candy.
He did, yeah.
And I would bring my pumpkin in, and if it wasn't full, he'd be disappointed. And I'd have to dump it out on the kitchen table, and I'm telling you, he was in heaven for 3 or 4 days eating that candy. That's the truth.
Did you eat any of it?
Oh, maybe a candy bar or something. Back when I was a kid, you didn't get good stuff.
Right, yeah.
You got maybe one little old candy bar about that big, and man, or Tootsie Rolls or something like that. Only place you got the good stuff's when you went to your grandma's.
Yep.
She was ready for you, and she had.
Yeah, you get the big, like a
bag.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now I did have a lot of fun on Halloween when I got a little bit older. And I don't know if they even do this anymore, but we like to go toilet paper houses on Halloween. That was fun. I did that for a year or two. And the fun part about toilet paper, I don't know, people may not even know what that is. Toilet paper, yeah, that's right. Popcorn balls, absolutely, Vicky.
Yes, Vicky.
Absolutely right. But you throw toilet paper, and the fun part was getting caught and running the car as fast as you could go.
Right.
That was fun. And going in the grocery store, and there was no toilet paper on the racks, just like there was during COVID. But I got to be honest. I guess I dressed up like Gene Autry once. You guys don't even know who that is. He was a famous cowboy back in the 50s and 60s. He was the owner of the Angels, the Anaheim Angels, for a while. Him and Roy Rogers were big time cowboys, and I dressed up like him once. The only reason I remembered, my mother had a picture of it.
There you go.
Do you remember anything that you dressed up as?
Yeah, the only thing I can really remember or that stands out to me is when I was a kid, I had a full set of like hockey goalie.
Oh, yeah.
Equipment, and because we played street hockey all day long. And I had the full set. I had the pads, the glove, the blocker, the stick. So I just dressed up as the St. Louis Blues goalie. I had a helmet that was a St. Louis Blues hockey like goalie mask. So yeah, I mean that easily would be my number one. I would dress in that every day. So then I would just put it on for Halloween and it go out. Yeah.
I don't remember you or your brother liking Halloween that much.
No, I always hated it. I did like that year I'm thinking of, I was a little older, like not old, but I wasn't like, you didn't need to take me around type young. Yeah. And so we put on our roller blades, and me and my friend Ryan Jenkins, he was like the like the the forward or the defenseman, the regular hockey player, and I was the goalie, and we just skated around the neighborhood and got all kinds of candy. And that was great because you could get a ton more houses because you weren't on foot. You were skating around, and so yeah, it was great. It was
Yeah,
great. That was my favorite Halloween.
yeah. I just never did like Halloween. I mean, I was a teacher and a coach, and that's another reason I didn't like Halloween, because I was always afraid somebody was going to do something to the house, or something to that effect. And they never did, but I was thought
as I got older, I don't really like giving out candy, but we do it. But yesterday we turned off all the lights because I had to work on the guide, and it was like, great.
You can go down in the basement and they don't think you're even home. I mean,
correct. That's exactly what it did. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, up here where we live, no one on the street turns their porch light on but us.
Yeah.
So Halloween or Valentine's Day, which is more overrated? Well,
Valentine's Day.
No doubt. I don't like it either.
Valentine's Day.
I don't think there's very many men that like Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day is just dumb.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
Pretty much. Yep.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on here. We are going to Vegas in 2 weeks. We'll get to see the Blues and the Knights. Well, Blues aren't very good, but still, that's awesome. Look at this. Jason is also going to be there.
Well, I'll be darned.
A little Racing Dudes meetup could be happening. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys need to figure out where each other's at.
That's right. Yeah, maybe you guys could meet up. We know. Well, Jason, no, you didn't. I don't think Jason was at Saratoga and Vicky was at Saratoga, but I don't think you guys were there at the same time this year. So
Jason going to Keeneland?
He's going to the Golden Knights, and he's also going to go to the Raiders Colts. Yeah, that'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, listen, you said the Keeneland. I have no idea, but come find us if you're going to be at Keeneland. We will be around for sure. So, leaving Wednesday. Michael asked, "Will you guys be here for Malibu Day?" I think Magic might be. Check back on that one. I think he might go.
Is Slim going to Keeneland?
Slim is not. No.
Well, you're going to be harder to find then if Slim's not there.
Immensely harder to find. Yes. Yes, for sure. But you can find us. You can definitely find us.
Well, it's not that big, right?
Right. Yeah, it's pretty small. Yeah, we will be there Friday and Saturday. So leaving tomorrow and got a little work day on Thursday, then Friday, Saturday at the Breeders' Cup. So
right. No, Jason, I've got tickets to the OU game and don't really want to go, but have to.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be a good game.
Yeah, Slim is on the no-fly list. People actually knew what Slim did for a living, they would be incredibly shocked.
I think they would be incredibly shocked to know a lot about Slim.
Yeah, he's one of the more interesting, one of the most intelligent people I've ever met, and his job is extremely important. Let's put it that way. So,
a very good guy. A very good guy.
Yeah, yeah. What Slim will do is he'll work on some extremely important stuff for his job, and then do his article about who's betting in the Breeders' Cup all in the same day. So,
yep. He's a good guy.
He's Slim is a engineer, and right now he's in charge of getting power to wind turbines in the ocean. That's his latest thing that he's trying to do.
So. Don't think a dummy can do that.
No, he's definitely not. He's definitely not a dummy. All right, that's it. We're bragging on Slim. That means it's time to go.
Time to get out of here.
Also, there's no doubt Slim is also this.
A stupid, naive, silly little goose.
I had to do it. All right.
Oh, he's not.
No, he's not. He's not. All right, we're going to get out of here. Speaking of Slim, he will be on the air tomorrow. I think it's at 3 Eastern time tomorrow. He'll be doing a little variety show. I have no idea what he has planned, but he definitely will be on here. Thursday night at 8 o'clock, Friday night at 8 o'clock, Saturday night at 8 o'clock. It's all Eastern times. We'll have live shows live from the Airbnb in Lexington. We'll have Samich, we'll have Magic, we'll have myself and Jared. I think Slim might pop on. Who knows? And if Epicenter wins, you might pop on, Papa Dude, and tell everybody.
Well, let's see. That's Saturday. I don't know.
No, won't be able to be Saturday.
Friday, I might be able to pop on for a minute.
Okay, well, we're gonna get off of here, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Like I said, Breeders' Cup coverage continues on the channel. If you've bought the guide and you're waiting on it, it's gonna come out Wednesday afternoon, and we'll see you for this show. We'll see you next week. So, good luck, everybody, and make sure to check out Slimmy tomorrow.
Here's Whitmore. Whitmore has taken the lead. The old man's gonna do it. It's Whitmore in the Breeders' Cup Sprint.